Today, we are going way, way back. I'm talking billions of years, to the very beginning of life itself. We're on the hunt for our planet's most ancient and, honestly, most mysterious residents.
I mean, it's the biggest question of all, right? Before there were plants, before dinosaurs, what was that first spark of life? What did the very first cells actually look like, and how in the world did they survive on a planet that was, frankly, a pretty hostile place?
Well, you can't exactly dig up a fossil of the very first life. The evidence is much, much more subtle than that. So to crack this ultimate cold case, scientists basically become detectives. Now, for the longest time, we kind of thought life was split into two main groups. You had bacteria, and then you had everything else. But it turns out there's this third group, this whole other domain of life that's been hiding in plain sight, and it might just hold the key to the entire mystery.
So, let's meet our prime suspects, the Archaea. You know, if you just glanced at them under a microscope, you might mistake them for bacteria. But genetically, they are as different from bacteria as we are. They are a totally separate branch on the tree of life, and they are the undisputed champions of survival. Okay, so let's get into what makes them tick. Yeah, they're simple cells without a nucleus, just like bacteria, but that's where the similarities start to fade. Their basic chemistry, like the stuff their cell membranes are made of, is completely unique. And because they live in these crazy places, think volcanic vents, super salty lakes, they've had to come up with totally new ways to eat and get energy, places that sound an awful lot like what early Earth must have been like.
And yeah, their ability to live in these brutal environments isn't some kind of magic trick. It all comes down to their unique biochemical toolkit. The little machines inside them, especially their enzymes, are just built different. And it's that special toolkit that could be our window, our direct look into the dawn of life itself.
And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. Check out this quote from the research. Scientists studying enzymes from Archaea that love extreme heat, they're called thermophilic, have found that these enzymes seem to be more primitive. Now that word, primitive, is huge. It suggests that these aren't just modern-day tweaks. They could be actual molecular fossils from the beginning of time.
And this table shows us exactly how they pull it off. Look at the comparison. Their enzymes have way more ionic bonds. Think of it like extra strong molecular glue holding them together. Their whole structure is tighter, more compact. Everything is packed together more densely on the inside. All of this adds up to a tiny machine that is ridiculously tough and can handle immense heat and stress.
So here's the kicker. That biochemical toughness isn't just a neat party trick. It's what lets them work perfectly in the exact kind of hot, high-pressure, chaotic world we think existed on Earth billions of years ago. It's like finding a key that perfectly fits an ancient, mysterious lock.
But wait, there's another clue. Some of these ancient-style enzymes are what scientists playfully call promiscuous. It just means they aren't super specialized. So instead of being the perfect tool for just one job, they're more like a multi-tool, able to work on a few different things. And that could be a huge sign of a primitive system, one that existed before life had time to evolve hyper-specialized parts.
And this brings us right to the heart of the debate. Are we really looking at a genuine ghost from the past, a molecular relic that's been preserved for billions of years? Or are these just incredibly clever, modern adaptations that evolved to handle a tough lifestyle?
So you've got these two big ideas clashing. The ancient echo camp says yes, these features are leftovers from an ancestor that lived on a hot, crazy planet. But the modern expert camp argues the opposite. They say this amazing stability isn't a starting point. It's the end result of billions of years of evolution perfecting its craft. It just goes to show you, science is rarely a settled story.
But here's the thing. It almost doesn't matter which side is right. Either way, the very existence and biology of Archaea force us to completely rethink what we thought we knew about the last universal common ancestor, the single organism that all life on Earth descends from, which we call LUCA. They're basically a living, breathing reminder of how much we still don't know. They didn't just fill in a gap in the tree of life. They showed us that the tree itself is wider and its roots are way more tangled and complex than we ever imagined. And get this, we have barely scratched the surface. This number comes from a study of the Archaea that live inside the human gut. Out of 27 different species they found, scientists have only ever been able to grow 9 of them in a lab. The rest are a total mystery. It's like biological dark matter.
So using these Archaeo clues, what can we start to guess about LUCA? Well, our deepest ancestor was probably a thermophile, loving the heat. It almost certainly wasn't breathing oxygen, but was probably getting energy from weird chemicals and minerals that were all over the young planet. And yeah, it likely started out with that simpler, more versatile enzyme toolkit we were just talking about.
This image really shows just how complex it all is. You're looking at a network map of microbes that live together. It shows all these intricate relationships, these metabolic handoffs between archaea and bacteria. What it's really hinting at is that from the very beginning, life probably wasn't a solo act. It was a community built on ancient partnerships.
So, no, Archaea don't just hand us the final answer to the origin of life on a silver platter. What they do is actually way more important. They give us real, tangible clues, and maybe more than anything, they completely expand our imagination of what was even possible at the dawn of cells. They're proof that this investigation is so far from over. Honestly, it feels like it's just getting started. Every new Archaean we find, whether it's in a volcano or right inside us, adds another critical piece to this enormous puzzle.
And that really leaves us with this one final amazing question. Hiding inside these tiny, tough-as-nails survivors from a lost world, what other secrets from life's very first chapter are just waiting for us to find them?